The holidays are almost over, and for residents of Lagos, the period was to be a peaceful and at least less traffic period. But for the residents of Apapa area, there was no difference in the volume of traffic, and hours were spent on the road. It's our story on this episode of Big Story. The motorcycle riders are having a field day. There's no competition for the road. Even Abuja Garage, which is used by truck drivers mostly, is not as full as usual.
There have been some measures of sanity in that they have created a kind of buffer. And with that buffer created, they now make it that vehicles respect queue. The vehicles going to the port now respect queue. It's no more a situation whereby you come from anywhere you like and enter. Everybody now stand on a queue. And this queue extends as far as from here maybe to about Beggar Cement. Then there's another buffer at my two. Then to Sele and Ijesha. It's the same route. All of them are coming to the port.
This is one of the benefits of the visit of the Vice President, who in his acting capacity as the President ordered that the area be cleared on July 20th, 2018.
Within 48 hours, we got a team together led by the Honorable Commissioner of Police and my humble self, and the Sector Commander Omije, the Brigade Commander at 9 Motorized Brigade Ikeja, and also the Air Force. We have with us LASMA, policemen, Air Force, Army personnel, and civil defense. So we clean up from Oshodi up to Maitu. And that was to the right, people can have access into their houses. And at that time, we were able to pick all the bonded terminals available in the area. We open them and we push these trucks. But there and then, after we have done that, at the other side too, at Ikorodu Road, up to Western Avenue and Apapa Axis, we are able to open this other terminal there so that we push these vehicles there, and the road was free for people. Not quite long, we were told to hand over to the Naval personnel. We handed over with the belief that they are doing a very good job as well. So that is what we have done. And at the side of the federal government, if you go there now, you see that they have already been doing the Apapa Oshodi Expressway road from my 2 to Apapa. They've already been doing it from Datuta up to MTN. Likewise, due to the other side.
It's not a very good time for the drivers and truck owners.
All we are seeing now, we are seeing that all vehicles that comes to the port, they that are coming to the port now, it means they have one thing or the other to do in the port. You can even see our garage here now. It's a bit free. So if there are vehicles to enter the garage, it will have been filled up. But for now, it's not filled up because all the vehicles, there are much job in the port to do now, and they were on the road. And you cannot enter the port, you cannot just enter the port like that. There are numbers of vehicles they will need because the inside the port also is congested.
In every situation, sanity is good, orderliness is good, but then the problem remains there. If a vehicle is coming to the port and remains on a queue that is not moving and stays there for a week or 2 weeks, it's still the same thing. The only thing is that, at least for now, we know where our vehicle is It's not jumping queue. There's no breaking here and there. There's some measure of peace. That's what I can say, but it hasn't made the business better.
Some of the fortunate ones who got contracted do not have very good experience to share.
We have delivered the goods, but now we are back to return the empty to the port. We already delivered the goods, so we are now back to deliver the container inside the terminal. I'm from a classic marine. I'm a ward of him. I'm a ward of him. Yes.
So how do you bathe? How do you eat? How do you do all this?
We manage it in the road in the night. So we hope to send our boys to go and buy food for us. Then we bath there, we toilet there. There's no anyhow we can leave the motor and go away.
If you go to Apapa, instead for them to pass the line, we will be there. Like me presently now, my vehicle has been there for over a week now, carrying export. And I have no other way. So the vehicle is there. When you look at the line, the vehicle remains in a position for the past 1 week, which is very bad. Assuming they are passing the vehicle in easily, assuming it's flowing, and there is enough space. There is enough space inside the terminal to drop the load. But they won't. We'll just be seeing it maybe for almost 30 minutes. A vehicle will enter. Why? So with the little space that is opening, they are using that period, that opportunity. You want to go in, you have to pay money. As I'm with you now, I've went to borrow a lot of money, 50,000 naira, to do express. What I'm supposed to do free of charge. So all these things is creating problem.
Herein lies the source of distress for the truck drivers going into the ports, which seems even more demanding than living, especially because the empty containers are being returned into the ports.
The owners of these boxes, they should come, there should be a synergy whereby they will arrange and remove their empty boxes, because the quantity coming in is far greater than what is going out. And we have only the ports here through where they go out. This is the reason why about a month ago, when Lagos State government came up with their task force, it was able to remove these containers to the holding base. But these holding bays are not functional because the road is not free. As you are removing them to the holding base, the ones coming out, in a situation where we have about 4,000 containers coming into the country per day, and we have average of 10 leaving, you see that we have the problem there. So it requires a synergy, a commitment by the shipping companies, a serious commitment from them. If they feel they want to help. Otherwise, I don't see, I take it because the buses belong to them. They can't be using the trucks as holding base. They can't be sanctioning the freight forwarders for delaying their containers. They can't be collecting deposits for containers which they know will never come back in the next 1 week or 2 weeks. And since the whole arrangement, how many empty container freighters have they sent sweepers to pick their containers from Nigeria?
The issue of empty containers has also been looked into by the Nigeria Ports Authority, especially as it concerns management of space within the ports.
Within the port, we have the concern with empty containers in the port locations, ensuring that the stacking areas within the ports are in line with the amount of cargo that goes out. In the last 3 to 4 weeks, we had sanctioned shipping companies for non-compliance to utilization of empty container holding bay. This means that every shipping company must have empty container holding bay commensurate to the volumes of containers they bring in. And where you have consignees having a deposit with the shipping companies and struggling to go and return the empty boxes to enable them access their deposit. So now we have said you don't need to take your empty containers into the port. You take your empty containers to a holding bay outside the port location, and the shipping company will now move the empty containers as at when is due. So you would now easily collect your deposit. Your money will not be stuck with the shipping companies. You'd also now not all be rushing into the ports at the same time to take in your empty containers. We've also noted that the shipping companies bring in volumes of containers into Nigeria and have made Nigeria literally a dumping ground for containers. So they bring in volumes of containers. There's a deposit which you give, and the containers come into the country. People find it challenging to go into the ports to deposit. As a result, they just leave the containers in Nigeria. So we've also made them understand that for every volume of empty containers you bring, you have to take out commensurate number of containers. So inflow and outflow needs to be in tandem.